Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Oh yeah, it's Sports Corner. It's that time of the week. It's Tuesday. It's 4 to 6 p.m. It's Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, and Smokin' Jim Frazier. We have a big guest list for you today. We're going to be having starting off with Noah Howes from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette to talk about the Pirates, and then at 4:30 we have a new guest for us on the show today, as I'm always coming up with some new guests. And that is Sean Lutz. He is the head coach of Slippery Rock University's football team. And he's going to join us. 5 o'clock, Ray Fittipaldo will join us to talk about the Steelers. And we're also going to be talking all day about the Mike Tomlin meeting. All right, there. Why we're having issues. There we go. All right. Okay, now we're where we need to be. Okay, anyway, we're gonna have Ray Fittipaldo at 5 o'clock, 5:30, our Wrestle Talk segment. We're gonna have Bubba Brewer on here. He's gonna talk about his new wrestling company, and we just have a whole lot going on today here on Sports Corner. And also, don't forget, Sports Corner is dedicated to my late father, Ralph Williams II. This week was his death anniversary. And also, don't forget about my nephew, Sean Negley Jr. And also, we are nationally sponsored by Amped Up Sports, ASAP Sports, Galaxy Sports, Fan First Sports Network. Also, Let's Talk Sports, Sideline Sports Network. And also, we are Steel City Sports World. And also by TGI Sports World and CRSMmedia.com. All right, Smokin' Jim Frazier. How are you today, Smokin' Jim?
Hey, I'm doing great, bro.
All right, good. How's everything with you today?
Oh, man, so far so good, bro.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Comment section's wide open, so don't forget to put your comments in there. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Now, today we're not on Facebook. We're having technical issues with Facebook. But anyway, my rant today is this. Mike Tomlin gets an extension. He goes 9-8. That's why I call him Mediocre Mike. But guess what? Art Rooney II never wants to be wrong. He wants to make sure that he's right about everything. So you know what? This is his hire. So now he has to eat it if he was not able to give Mike Tomlin another contract. I'm interested to see how far this goes, because I'm hoping that after 20 seasons that Mike Tomlin steps down. That's my prediction. That's my rant for today. Smokin' Jim's wisdom.
Hey, great job, bro. I tell you what, man, we've come a long way, man. I remember when John Wooten didn't make more than $40,000 a year as the head basketball coach at UCLA, man. Football coaches and basketball coaches and teachers didn't make any money, man. Now, Coach Tomlin signed a contract for $20 million a year. I never seen that coming. That professional coaches and college coaches would be able to make so much money. Congratulations to Coach T. $20 million. He's no longer. He's with the wealthy. He's a wealthy man now.
That's what's on my mind. All right, there you go. Smokin' Jim Frazier, very good. Don't forget later on about the 4:20 time, we're going to have the boxing report with Smokin Jim. We have some news about the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight that's coming up later on also. All right, let's go to our first guest, Noah Howes. Noah, welcome to the program.
Ralph, thanks for having me on.
All right, you're welcome. Say hello to Smokin Jim.
Smokin Jim, how's it going, fella?
What's happening, Noah, my man?
All right, there we are. All right, Noah, tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Pirates these days. I know the bullpen's been laying an egg, lately. What's the plan to fix this?
I think you've seen a little bit of the plan in action. I mean, it's worth pointing out that the back end of the bullpens actually have been a lot better throughout June, albeit a small sample size. But Aroldis Chapman has showed solid improvement this month. David Bednar had an incredible May, and he looks to be back to his old self. And Colin Holderman's only allowed 2 earned runs this whole season. So 7, 8, 9, those look to be secured. It's just a lot of young guys and around them right now. And so I think the plan is trying to acquire other arms. They've signed 2 minor league free agents in the last week to add some depth there, and I would expect them to start being aggressive and maybe making a couple of trades to fix that as well. And that's their clear weakness right now, Ralph. I mean, the offense is looking a lot better since Nick Gonzalez came up. Other guys have come out of their slumps, and the starting pitching is as good as it gets right now. So if they fix up that bullpen, which, again, cost them 2 games in their last homestand, both of them going on Ben Heller's shoulders, in my opinion, if they fix that up, this is a team that's, I think, going to be able to make a push for the postseason.
Yeah, everyone's been saying that, Noah, and, sometimes I wonder, if that's the case, but they're not too far along. Rowdy Tellez looks like he's had a good May as well, so it seems like he's starting to come around. Is he going to be traded? That's my question to you.
I don't know. I mean, I would think not, because they held on to him for this long throughout his whole slump. May was actually a bad month. June is what he's been really good with. He's already had 11 hits this month, and we're on the 11th day of the month. He hit his 2nd home run of the season, a couple of multi-hit games, a lot of RBIs compared to what his standard has been. So I would think that because of how long this team held on to him and waited for him to get going, they're going to want to hang on to him now, especially if they're making push for the playoffs. I don't see them getting rid of him, just because if he can play to the level that they thought he would play when they acquired, then basically that's your addition, because they've got no production from first base with Rowdy playing there in the first couple of months of the season. Now this is basically like you did acquire a new first baseman, because the guy that you signed in the offseason is playing to the level that you thought he would.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Smokin Jim, you have any questions for Noah? Smokin Jim.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. All right. Noah, now I know about the bullpen, and, I talked about some of the infield. What's going on with Key Brian Hayes? Is his back still bothering him, or did they finally get that fixed up?
It's going to be something that's never truly fixed, which anyone with back issues can understand that. Like that's one injury where you're never going to really completely be okay. And he's talked about that. He talked about that with reporters just a couple of weeks ago. He said, I've tried everything. I've talked to all these different types of people, and it's something where I still don't know when I'll be able to fix this long term. And it's just a part of what you're going to have to deal with him. It's 3 straight seasons now where he's spent time on the injured list due to the injury. Right now he's healthy. And that's the biggest thing you could say about the kid, Ralph, is his biggest weakness as a professional baseball player is availability. When he is at full health, he's a top 5 third baseman in baseball, maybe a top 30 player in the league. It's just getting him healthy, because the glove's great. The bat's been very good since he's returned from the IL in late May. It's just keeping him healthy. And, anyone who's dealt with back issues knows it can flare up at any moment. And it's just, one dive on a ball down the line, one slide on a close play at the plate, and you lose them for another 10 to 15 days. That's just kind of what you have to deal with right now. That's the player you signed to a $70+ million contract.
All right, we're here at Sports Corner. We're here every Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. We started off our show here with Noah Howes. He reports for the Post-Gazette and does his beat as the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's me, Ralph Williams, Smokin Jim Frazier, and we're here every Tuesday. Coming up at 4:30, we're going to have Sean Lutz, the head coach of Slippery Rock Football, come on and talk with us. Later on at 5, Ray Fittipaldo, Noah's colleague here from the Post-Gazette, will be on to talk about the Steelers. Big news about mediocre Mike Tomlin, and also big news about the signing of Cam Sutton and a few other things going on with the Steelers here. All their draft picks are now signed. So we'll see what goes on as we go here with the Steelers. Also, we're going to talk UFL, boxing. We have a lot going on today here on Sports Corner. Noah, with the team right now, the starting rotation, is it going to stay as is, or are they going to tinker with it a little bit? What's going on with that?
I think they'll have to tinker with it a little bit just for that 5th spot, Ralph. I mean, if you look at it right now, Martin Perez is still on the IL.
Right.
And with Quinn Priester also on the IL, they started Carmen Majinski on Saturday, just did a bullpen game.
Right.
I'll be interested to see how they go about that moving forward, because Luis Ortiz pitched 4 1/3 innings. And, I mean, if he can get you 5, then you don't need to call up another starter.
Right.
There's a couple of different routes you could go. You could go another bullpen game, assuming that Martin Perez will be healthy in a couple of days after that second bullpen game, and you can just reactivate him. I would assume he would probably need a rehab stint. Quinn Priester's another option once he gets healthy, or you can go acquire someone. There's also internal options. Braxton Ashcraft, the number 6 prospect in the organization, just got promoted to AAA. Perhaps he's 1 or 2 starts away from being a big leaguer. Domingo Herman is a guy they've signed in the offseason. He has not looked particularly good in AAA, but, I mean, he threw a perfect game last year for the Yankees. There's talent somewhere in that arm of his. It's just getting the most out of it. So they have options. Will it look the same as it does now? No, because they only have 4 starters right now. But of those 4 starters, I mean, they're all very good starters.
Right.
It's just finding out who's going to be the 5th person to kind of tag along with them.
I see. What's going on with Henry Davis? I know he's up here because of the injury to Joey Bart. How's he progressing?
I wouldn't say progressing much at all.
Oh, really?
I mean, again, it's a small sample size, but I mean, he's made a couple of changes to his stance, his approach, swing. He's standing a little bit more open at the plate. But the strikeouts are still very prominent. He's still trying to pull everything. I haven't noticed much of a change. There's just a very big gap between being a good AAA player and being an average big leaguer. And Henry's somewhere in the middle of that gap right now. It's important to remember, I mean, this kid's young. He's 24 years old. He's yet to play a full big league season. But when you're selected with the 1st overall pick in a draft, you're expected to come up quick and deliver. And he hasn't been able to do that. And that's going to be another key piece of it. If this team's going to reach the playoff, it's going to be because, A, the bullpen stops losing at games, and B, because 2 guys, everyone else has come along or shows signs of coming along. But him and Sawinski, they have to be better. Those were your 2 key power bats in that order, and they just started getting offensive production from the middle of the order when they called up Nick Gonzalez and when Rowdy started to wake up and a couple of other things started to happen. But they need those 2 guys, or at least one of those 2, to simply not be horrible, which they've been this season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Smokin Jim, you have any questions for Noah before he heads out? Smokin Jim. Oh, what happened?
No, sir. Great job as usual, Noah.
All right. All right. There you go. All right. Noah, thanks for being part of the program today. I really appreciate it. We'll see what they do tonight in St. Louis with Paul Skeens. You know, I think they're probably going to win. I think Skeens is a winner, and I like him, and I think he's a good pitcher. I hope he can go beyond 6 innings maybe, because the bullpen is still suspect, and we'll see how it goes from there. Thanks, Noah, for being part of the program.
Thanks, Ralph. Take it easy.
All right. Have a great one. That was Noah Howes, for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He covers the Pittsburgh Pirates. Smokin Jim, your thoughts on the Pirates? You there, Smokin Jim?
Well, I think that they would be pennant contenders if they did the right thing. Last year, Paul Skeens was ready. As soon as they drafted him, he should have been within a week up here to the big league. The guy's a natural-born leader. He's one of the great pitchers of our generation. and this is a very, very weak year in Major League Baseball. Had you had Paul Skeens up a year ago and built that chemistry of the team and had him up here all season long, I think the Pirates may be 5 or 6 games ahead of everybody right now in a win-loss talk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, Smokin' Jim, when we come back, we're going to go to a break right now. When we come back after these words, more with Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. I'm having a little bit of a sinus problem here, a little bit, folks. So that's why I went back to the my face not being on the air here. So it doesn't matter as long as I have my voice and everything. We're in good shape here. All right, we come back after these words. More Sports Corner.
Pro Wrestling, Sunday, June 23rd, 2024, 3 p.m. S&T Bank Arena. It's called Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. EC3 will make an appearance, the NWA World Champion, and a whole lot more. Great entertainment for the family friendly. $25 for the first 2 rows, $20 for the floor, and $15 general admission. Get your tickets now for Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. Draft412.com is a website that provides you with all of the best information about any draft, NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, any kind of draft. 412.com has an e-magazine delivered to your inbox for $9 a month. And also they give you all the skinny and on all the athletes and also podcasts. Draft412.com.
All right, we're back here at Sports Corner. I'm Ralph Williams along with Smokin' Jim Frazier, and we're here until 6 p.m. tonight. And the reason my face is not here is because I'm having a little bit of a sinus issue. So I'm not putting my face up here a little bit. So we'll just have to work with it. Also, we're not on Facebook tonight because we're having some issues with that as well. The technical issues, Smokin' Jim, we talked earlier, as long as you have, a computer or whatever, there's always some kind of technical issue that goes on around all this. And we've had these issues before, but we've come through. Smokin' Jim, boxing report. Go ahead, Smokin' Jim. You there, Smokin' Jim?
Hey, Ralph, I think you mainly wanted to talk about the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. Mike Tyson conveniently had an ulcer flare on the airplane. I never heard of that. I don't know if that's equivalent to the sickle cell where Ryan Clark had in Denver, but
right.
The fight is being moved into November. Again, I'm predicting Jake Paul in a second round knockout. Mike Tyson's 58 years old. I think if he was even 38, that Jake Paul could beat him. And so it should be fun. It may go longer than 2, but I think that Jake Paul's going to dominate Mike Tyson.
Yeah, you know what? That could be the case. When he had this ulcer thing, Smokin' Jim, I was really confident that Mike Tyson was going to knock his block off. But now, you know what? You're right about Jake Paul. Jake Paul could possibly, just tear up Mike Tyson. That's like the Rocky Balboa fight when he was fighting, the world champion in the movie Rocky Balboa there for a minute. Kind of reminds you of that, doesn't it, Smokin' Jim? So, but. All right. Okay. Next, we're going to talk a little. We have some, like I said, a whole lot to talk about today. And let's get into some other local sports news today. The Riverhounds, they played on Saturday. They went to a 0-0 tie against the Charleston Battery. One thing Matt Grubba said when he was on our show here, Smokin' Jim, was the fact that the Riverhounds, despite the fact that they're losing games, at least they're fighting. At least they're competitive. At least they're doing a lot of that stuff. So with that, I believe that the Riverhounds, even though they're having a rough season this year, could possibly, handle themselves, even though they're losing. But like I said, at least it's a close game there, Smokin' Jim. Your thoughts on the Riverhounds?
Well, I ain't going to make no excuses for them. This is a horrible year for them. They almost won the national championship last year. Now everything's falling apart. I think they did a horrible job in the offseason. They got the best facilities probably in their area of level of professionalism. I'm out at their practice facility each and every week. There's 3-4 football fields surrounding their indoor facility. They got everybody and their uncle paying to use the facilities and renting out space to play different games from 7-on-7 to AAU football, to soccer, and everything else. I just think that they should have invested some money, replaced the players that they lost, and been more competitive. They got a beautiful stadium over there. There's no reason why they should not be dominant year in and year out, and they're not this year, and I'm not going to make excuse for them.
Oh, absolutely. They play the Hartford Athletic this Saturday at the Highmark Stadium. No, I'm sorry, it's an away game. I believe it is. Okay, next, the Pittsburgh Passion. They played the Boston Renegades this past Saturday, and they won 26-21 on this Saturday. They're away at Columbus. Your thoughts on the Passion? Actually, the Passion have done pretty well. They only lost one game so far, Smokin' Jim.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I've always been a Pittsburgh Passion fan. Teresa Kahn, the owner, and the late Franco Harris, they did a great job of building that team from scratch. They're always competitive no matter what league they played in. I think they won about 2 or 3 world championships. So they're always competitive. I don't know why they never went over the hump. Maybe it's because they don't return nobody's phone calls.
Yeah.
If you don't return Ralph Williams' phone calls, you ain't serious about doing business. I always thought that they should have been playing in the Highmark Stadium over there. I think it's a great brand of football. I think that, they bring back a veteran team each and every year. They travel well. They all get along. And I was surprised last week when you told me they have a reduced number of games this year. So it's going to be very difficult for them to make the playoffs if that schedule is that you looked at last week is true.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. They're only playing 6 games a year now. And they've been rotating the stadiums this year. They went to Couples. They went to they were at Pine Richland. They used to be in West Allegheny. I don't know what happened down there, but that's what's going on with the Passion. Okay, let's talk about Pitt football for a minute. They secured a commitment from a 2025, a 3-star defensive end named Julian Anderson, and they also have. This is the second of 5 commitments over the weekend, which means the Panthers have pulled just over half of uncommitted recruits in town, and shows those recruits are slowly coming to light. Your thoughts on Pitt's recruiting? I actually found out something interesting, Smokin' Jim. Here's a fact that they are last in the ACC in recruiting in the transfer portal. Your thoughts on Pitt?
Well, it's horrible. I don't know what they see in Narduzzi. You cannot be a Division I level program in ACC and only getting 3-star recruits. You've got to be 4 and 5-star recruits. Their recruiting is horrible. There's no way that I would recruit high school athletes at this point. I would go strictly with junior college athletes. Snyder from Kansas State ended up building powerhouses by recruiting junior college players only instead of messing around with these 2 and 3-star recruits in high school that as soon as they get a Dear John letter, they start getting homesick and running back home. I would deal, if I'm the University of Pittsburgh, I'm dealing with mature kids that's proven that they can play college level football from junior colleges. That's the way I would go instead of messing around and hoping in a prayer with these 2 and 3-star recruits.
All right. When we come back, we're going to have Sean Lutz, who's the head coach of Slippery Rock football, right after these words.
Ralph Williams here today to let you know that I am handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair, and I will not deny it. But I've had some recent inconveniences lately. So you know what I did? I went on and I reached out to foldandtravelmobility.com. You know, foldandtravelmobility.com has some of the best folding power wheelchairs. Look, do you not go to certain events because you can't get there or you can't make it because you need a folding power wheelchair to put in your vehicle? Well, guess what? foldandtravelmobility.com has the right model for you. Get in touch with them today. foldandtravelmobility.com. Get on the phone, 1-877-GOTFOLD, foldandtravelmobility.com, 1-877-GOTFOLD. Let the experts help you get into a folding power wheelchair. Don't be sad. Be glad. Let your life get back in order. foldandtravelmobility.com. Let me talk to you here today about Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. They have the best technicians to handle your furnace, air conditioner, UV lighting, snow melt, much, much more. Call them today, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You can also catch them on Facebook at Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Mata, you ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning.
All right, we're back here at Sports Corner. I'm Ralph Williams, Smokin Jim Frazier, and we're going to go to our next guest here, who is Sean Lutz, who's the head coach at Slippery Rock. Sean, welcome to the program.
Hey, guys, thanks for joining me. Fired up, excited. Talk a little bit about football. It's around the corner, and we're always fired up here at Slippery Rock.
Sean, I apologize that I couldn't show my face today. I'm having a sinus issue, so I just want to let you know that. So that's why my face is not up on the screen. Anyway, say hello, Sean, to my co-host, Smokin Jim Frazier. Smokin Jim, say hello to Sean.
Hey, Coach. It's an honor to have you on. I'm a huge West Virginia University fan, and I got a feeling after this conversation I'll be a Slippery Rock fan as well.
I like that, Smokin. I like that. It's good to hear. Once a Mountaineer, always a Mountaineer right now.
Yeah, so there you go.
I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting this year to see the Pitt, West Virginia, the backyard brawl again this year. We're going to see what happens. Neil Brown has that team up and moving. Sean, tell us a little bit about Slippery Rock football a little bit. What's your schedule looking like this year, and what do you plan? How's your team looking?
We're excited. Preseason rankings came out nationally, Street and Smith, and we're ranked 10th in the country. We have 2 preseason All-Americans that made the list. We have a newcomer of the year, and the biggest thing I like to say, since 2017, we have the 3rd most wins in Division II in the country, and our goal is always never really changes. We never want to rebuild. We want to reload. And our goal is to compete for a national championship. We've been the Elite 8, Final 4. I know it's big goals. We'll take care of one game at a time, but we have big goals in our program. So we're excited with this upcoming team that we have. We just got a lot of work to do. We use the word relentless. We want our guys to have that relentless approach, be passionate, be enthusiastic, and play that great game of football. So we're pretty fired up. We love expectations, and we're ready to go out there and prove it.
Tell us a little bit about your schedule this year, Sean. How's it looking?
Yeah, we start out with New Haven, who was a playoff team, who's pretty good. Then we go to Shepherd. Shepherd had the quarterback that won the Harlan Hill, which is the Heisman of Division II at one time. He started a couple games for the Chicago Bears this year. And so we're we're home against New Haven at Shepherd. And I think early, we play IUP at their place, and we're also at California. Now, Mercier's joining to the Duquesne St. Francis concert. We lose them week 8. My son played at Duquesne. I'm familiar with that conference, but we'll just have a bye week and play a 10-game schedule. But it's tough early on, and we're going to see what we're made of.
Smokin Jim, you have any questions for Sean?
Yeah, Coach, I understand that you guys this year may be going more towards a ground game. I was just with one of your quarterbacks when he won the WPIAL as a head coach, Tanner Gary.
Oh yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
was a
Tanner
former.
was amazing. He was one of those guys that improvised everything he did. We've been spoiled here offensively. People don't know this, but we really started the spread system pretty much probably about 10 years ago. We've lost an offensive coordinator about every year moving up to the next level. The guy that a lot of people know that started this whole thing was Phil Longo. He's now the offensive coordinator at the University of Wisconsin. But every year we use our guy, but we have the newcomer of the year, and Notre Dame College shut down their program, and we got a guy named by the name of Lawrence, who's from Pickerton, Ohio, in Columbus. He was up for the Harlan Hill finalist, which goes to the top Division II player in the country. And we got our quarterback back, Braden Long, who's returning. But we got a lot of really good running backs. I mean, it's kind of going to be, by committee. And we threw the ball a lot this past year. Kyle Sheets, he's from Conneaut High School, a little bit north of us, but he signed an NFL contract with New Orleans Saints. But we could be ground and pound and run the football because we got about 3 or 4 running backs coming back. So whatever we got to do, but we have averaged anywhere. I mean, you name it. We've been in top 3 or 4 in the country in total attendance, in statistics. But we could be, we could pound the ball, whatever we got to do to be successful.
Sean, tell us a little bit about some of your players. I know a few of them have made it in the NFL, and I watched one of your quarterbacks play for the Maulers. What's your thoughts on them guys?
Yeah, I mean, we can go back to, shoot, I coached him, Marcus Martin, who's a West Mifflin guy. People don't know this, but he's the all-time sack leader in college football history at all levels, Marcus Martin. And he played a little bit for the Rams. And then if you keep kind of going that route, Henry Litwin played a little bit for the actually the Commanders, I'm sorry, and bounced around. Roland Rivers, who you're talking about, was the guy. He was a Georgia native, played at Valdosta State. He transferred us with 2 years left, and now he's bouncing around. And then Wes Hills was leading that, the USFL, whatever they call it. They got so many of those semi-pro teams. He came from Delaware, and he just had a season-ending injury, but he came from Delaware. Wes Hills was a running back. I think he was leading that, the USFL, whatever league it's called, in rushing. And now, Henry Litwin broke a lot of records, just like I said, and now it's carried a torch to Kyle Sheets.
You have any more questions for Sean there, Smokin' Jim?
Hey, I just want to go off the beat. One of my all-time favorite running backs, especially in college, he had muscles coming out his ears, was Amos Airway, but I think you just missed him by about a year at West Virginia. But I think you played with Robert Walker. He was a very underrated running back for West Virginia University.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it, man, Amos. I mean, the guy was built like the Incredible Hulk, guys. There wasn't a guy I've ever seen in my entire life that was built and compacted like that. I mean, the guy was chiseled. I mean, whether he was 5'8", 5'9", 5'7", I don't know, man, but he was as strong as it gets. And I remember when I was there, though, from when was it, 91, 95, and I came after Major Harris and that, and then it was a great story. Jake Kelchner and Darren Studstill split time at quarterback, but that was the year we went undefeated, played for a national championship against the Florida Gators, and I think it was we had an undefeated team in 1993, but Robert Walker was the running back, and he was awesome. But Jake Kelchner was going to be the starting quarterback at Notre Dame, and things didn't work out. And then he transfers to us, and he had a great career there. But I always tell people there's nothing like the atmosphere of a WVU football game because, again, people don't realize. I mean, people do realize, but they don't have an NFL team in their state. So game day on Saturday, everybody's coming out of the mountains, greatest people around, and it is just amazing. And we won a lot of games when I played there, and now I'm doing this. But I talked to a lot of my former teammates. But man, that I'm just glad they brought back that backyard brawl. That's amazing. We're to bring that back. I remember back in the day we played Penn State. We didn't do the best against them, but I missed that Big East Conference when you're playing more teams. You recognize the the Rutgers back then, the Boston colleges, the Virginia Techs. It was what I liked. It had a little more geographically, a little bit more together that way. I understand where we're at with college football and the transfer portal and making money, but it was awesome to be able to play those type of games.
Coach, you were talking about Mercyhurst earlier, and I had Ryan Babico on here last week, and to talk. And I've been doing having a lot of guests from these small universities like yourself to come on here because you guys are just as important as Pitt and Duquesne and all the other ones. So that's why I'm having you guys come on here.
And I appreciate you recognizing that. That's great for local in the area and stuff like that. So I do appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No problem here. And Smokin, Jim, you have any more questions for Sean?
No, just one last one. Everybody, and I go to a lot of West Virginia games over the years, and everybody wanted to play for West Virginia except Randy Moss, and the Mountaineers wanted to kill that dude, man.
Oh, I know, man. That was. I don't know how they let him go, man. That's amazing. I mean, how about that guy, the way he played and everything like that, guys. And you guys know this, though. College football has totally changed. I mean, it is now totally different. I like to say that peer in that it's changed. It's more of a business, and with transfer portal, with the money they're giving kids and stuff like that. But man, I tell you what, if you guys are always welcome at a game, and we're top 5 in the country in total attendance. We get these night games, and they pack in 10 to 12,000 people in there. It's tailgating, and it's just a great atmosphere. And I feel bad for the high school kids anymore because they're getting less recruited because everybody's on that portal. And to me, whether it's Division III, Division II, 1AA, whatever, if you get an opportunity to go play somewhere for college football, go do it because it's hard. It's really hard because everybody wants to win now, and the portal is an easy access. We have full-time guys that just are on the portal all the time. So, again, my advice for any high schools going in to be, finish up his senior year, if you get someone who likes you, really entertain that because it's tough out there right now.
Yeah, you know what, Sean, the whole thing has changed, as you mentioned, with the transfer portal and paying athletes now. How is that working for you right now?
You know what? We haven't got to that point yet. Our basketball team has done that a little bit. It could be getting there, but before we'll get into that, if we have someone that comes out to us, we got to make sure, we follow all the NCAA compliance rules. But because it's not a lot of money, I just I could not right now say, give it to this guy, then this guy wants it, and kind of vice versa. But I guess we're a little more, we haven't started it yet. For us, our guys are really coming to Slip Rock because it's a great school, great university. They update all the facilities, great academic programs. But most importantly, we've been winning. And what our claim to fame is, we like to say, is we're going to compete for a national championship. And, so they like that. They want to win. And that's most important for them. But they all have those aspirations. And, with social media and everything like that, if you're good enough, you put it on film. Like this past season, we had every NFL scout almost come in for a practice at Slippery Rock. And, it doesn't matter anymore where you come from. Yes, you have better opportunities at the highest level, but if you're good enough anymore, they will find you. And, if I was sitting at a team meeting and say, who wants to play in the National Football League, they about all would raise their hand because in their mind, they believe that, and that's okay. As long as they have something to fall back on, that degree and stuff like that. The statistics are the statistics. It's hard, and I get that.
Smokin, Jim, you have any more questions for Coach Lutz?
No, I knew I would be a fan, Coach, of yours right after this conversation. You was outstanding, brother.
All right. Sean, thanks for coming on the show today, and we'll have you come back on again sometime during the season, talk some more. We'll be at I'll be at a game. You've convinced me to show up at a Slippery Rock game, if that's the kind of atmosphere that's going on there. But
Yeah,
thank you for being part of the show.
Yeah, Ralph, appreciate Smokin. Please, man, let's go. Let's get this thing. I'd love to see you guys, and it's awesome what you guys do, talking about sports, and there's nothing better. And I know it's a tough gig, and I'll be a fan now. I'll be checking in with you guys, and appreciate having me on today.
Yeah, I appreciate you too being on here, Sean. Before you go, your thoughts on Mike Tomlin's contract?
Mike's a personal friend of mine. I could tell you a quick story. My son and his son Dino, who plays at Boston College, played AU basketball together, and I'm a big fan. I don't care what anybody says, and it's just the way he treats people. He allows guys for OTAs, and this is another thing that people don't realize. His he kind of was the OC. He's the running back coach, but he filled in Coach Faulkner. His son Eddie Faulkner plays for us. He's an All-American. He has 1 year left. He's from Shady Side Academy. But Coach Tomlin's one of those guys, man, that takes care of college coaches. Anybody at any time can go down to OTAs, sit in their meetings. Okay, I'm talking about his team meeting at the beginning, special teams meeting, any meeting, and get access on the field. He is one of those guys, man, that, you go some of the NFL stuff, you can't get in. It's like Fort Knox. He opens up access to all of us to learn about the game of football. And I think it's great. I honestly am a big fan of his, and it's hard to win. And the NFL means not for long. I get that. But I think he's great. I think he's passionate. And again, if you look at a lot of NFL organizations would want to have his record and what he's done. But I know what have you done for us lately. But I'm a big fan of Coach Tomlin. He's a man of respect, integrity, loyalty. And I tell you what, when he speaks, people listen, man. His players really gravitate his message, so I think it's well-deserved.
All right, Sean, thank you once again for being part of the show, and we'll have you back on again another time. Thank you once again for sharing everything about Slippery Rock football and the knowledge to our audience here.
Okay, thank you. Guys, have a good one. Appreciate it.
All right, you too. That was Coach Sean Lutz, who is the head coach of Slippery Rock football. Smokin' Jim, what's your thoughts on this?
I tell you what, I can see why Slippery Rock wins. I mean, this coach is unbelievable. He's passionate. He's been there 25 years, only 9 years as a head coach. So he's loyal to that program. He knows everything about Slippery Rock. They've always gotten very good recruits. They've always been very, very competitive. And, his knowledge of Coach Tomlin is a little lacking. But other than that,
yeah. Yeah.
It's snowed like the rest of them, but you got to love it because there is something about Coach Tomlin when you meet him for the first time or you meet him in person. He got that Deion Sanders type charisma, and everybody just seems to really love him.
Yes, the players do because they get away with whatever they want to do. That's why, so. And, I've always called him Mediocre Mike, and I said if they ever go to the Super Bowl with him, I will do all my shows naked. So,
Well, you're going to do it naked because Russell Wilson's taking them to the Super Bowl this year, brother. So get ready. Get ready, man.
Yeah, there you go. I'll tell you what, man. He's been running all over the city. I mean, I've seen reports of where he's been here, he's been there. He's really getting it in,
Natural born leader everywhere he's been. You're going to let, these sportscasters out of Denver just because of Sean Payton that said he wasn't. This is a guy that Peyton Manning said had, the work ethic of a Peyton Manning and the Eli Manning and some of them other guys, man. He's a workaholic. He played baseball, full-time baseball and football throughout college. He's very organized. He waited 2 years to have sex with his wife. She was his fiance, and she's the sexiest lady on the planet. So, man, the guy's a character guy. He's a Christian, and I'm just happy that we have him. I only think we're going to have him for one season, and then it's going to be the Justin Fields show. But he's taking us to the Super Bowl this year. I lifted the Santonio
curse.
Santonio Holmes curse for this season. Yeah.
All All right, we're here at Sports Corner every Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, 724-201-0500. Ask for Bill. Tell Bill Ralph Williams sent you. All right, when we come back after these words, we have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Later on our wrestling segment, we have Bubba Brewer coming in here, and Bubba is going to be talking about his wrestling company, and we're talking about WWE, TNA, Impact, and AEW. All have pay-per-views coming up, some great ones, and some news about ROH. Scott D'Amore, who formerly worked for TNA, there's a report out there he will be running ROH for Tony Khan as well. So all that coming up at 5:30 with Bubba Brewer. Lots to talk about, and I hope we have enough time to fit it in. All right, I'm Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. We'll be back right after these words.
Do you drive a dirty car? Why? You need to have your car detailed and detailed by professionals at P6 Auto Detailing, New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Call today, 412-965-6578. P6 Auto Detailing. They are the professionals at detailing cars. That number again, 412-965-6578. P6 Auto Detailing in New Kensington. Hello, Ralph Williams here to talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh, 8th Avenue, Homestead, for the best selection of affordable mattresses, day beds, lift chairs, futons, and more. Check out sleeppittsburgh.com for their inventory or call 412-462-7858. They also offer no credit check financing and a whole lot more. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight.
All right. Don't forget, Ball and Journey is coming. It will be at the Jurgles on June 22nd. They will be there. And don't forget that when you go to Jurgles to catch this show, you need to make sure that you get there early, get a table, and sit down because it's a standing room only kind of thing. All right, Smokin' Jim, we have some comments here in the comments section here. It says, Ralph, are you and Jim going to watch the Pistol Pete documentary episode? Smokin' Jim.
I didn't know it was on, but I'll definitely catch that. You know, it's my favorite basketball player of all time, so I would love to see it.
All right, next here we got Ron. He says that let me see here. Also, Mike Tyson fight was with YouTube junk was rescheduled. Yes, we know we have that for November 15th. It's on Netflix, I believe, and we already gave our opinion about that fight as well. Smokin' Jim. Like I said, I wanted Mike Tyson at the beginning, but now I'm starting to sway towards Jake Paul. I'm not a big Paul brothers fan. I hate both of them. I can't stand either one of them. And then Rob also says that AEW is going a bit like TNA. Yes, they are, Rob. Absolutely. They are going kind of like TNA a little bit. They're going into smaller facilities and places to have their events because they're not selling out the bigger places. And so now they're going into some smaller venues. And, yeah, you're exactly right about that, Rob. And I want to thank you for your comments as well. All right, here we go. This one is Wine Vinyl Club. It says, you think that the Tyson fight was real? I think it's a joke. What do you think, Smokin' Jim?
Yeah, it's real. But you got to take into consideration the man is 58 years old, and that makes a difference.
Oh, yeah.
He's fighting a guy that's very experienced in boxing that's in his early 30s, and that's going to be the difference in the fight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, I want to thank all you guys for all your comments. And then it says, what's this say here about me? I don't care what some people say about me, but sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Let's see what they're saying. Ralph doesn't take it seriously, Rob, says Rob, LOL. And that's from the Wine Vinyl Club. So there you go. All right, Smokin' Jim, some of our fans chiming in here. And, so let's see what we have here. Next, it says, it's not serious, Smokin' Jim saying it right now. So there you go. All right. All of our comment section wide open. Guys are coming in and making their comments. Thank you for that. We're not on Facebook today because we're having technical issues with Facebook, having trouble getting on there. And so, Ralph, I don't mean it bad. I'm telling you that the Rob guy that you also know, it is not a real boxing match. What do you think about this, Smokin' Jim? I know we've made our opinions on this. We have our fans here talking about how they think this fight may not be real. Do you think it's a joke, or do you think it's actually real? And it's going to be kind of like celebrity boxing.
Well, the Roy Jones Mike Tyson fight was an exhibition. This is actually sanctioned as a real fight, so it's already been sanctioned by the boxing councils as a real fight, man. So it's real.
All right. We're going to talk some more NFL here news a little bit. Washington Commanders have officially released Brandon McManus because of a sexual assault charge. Cincinnati Bengals are
Steelers ought to pick him up. Steelers ought to pick him up.
Well, you ready for this one? Here's who the Steelers should pick up. He wants out. He wants traded. Wide receiver T. Higgins. How do you like that one? But I heard Cincinnati, and then I also read a report that the Las Vegas Raiders were offering Devontae Adams, but that they wanted the first round. I think I sent that to you. They wanted a first round pick, a third, and a fifth and a sixth round pick in next year's draft. So
Steelers don't want you unless you've been to prison. So that's why I was saying that other guy, man.
Hey, you know what though, Smokin' Jim? Don't forget about Michael Vick now. Michael Vick was charged with dogfighting, and the Steelers gave him another opportunity. So, but yeah, so we'll be talking a little bit more about Steelers when Ray Fittipaldo comes on at 5:00 as well. UFL action here. Birmingham took on Michigan. They beat Michigan in the divisional playoffs. Also in the divisional playoffs, St. Louis took on San Antonio. San Antonio won. And let me say this, Smokin' Jim, San Antonio is the Steelers of the UFL. They have they have former Steelers on there and Pitt players. It's unbelievable. Including Anthony McFarland, Quadri Olison from Pitt, who also was on the Steeler roster for about 5 minutes. So, but anyway, it's going to be Birmingham versus San Antonio. Do you see Birmingham getting another championship, or will Wade Phillips in his first year as coach with San Antonio pick up where they left off in the regular season?
Give me the ham, Birmingham.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Skip Holtz has his offense moving really well. Wade Phillips has a really good defense, but, they lost some games, and, and so we're going to find out what happens. They had some injuries and a few other problems as well. So, all right, Smokin' Jim, we'll be talking Steelers with Ray Fittipaldo coming up. Anything you want to talk about right now, we'll open it up. I want to talk about that Hurley, Dan Hurley there not taking a job at the LA Lakers. We don't talk NBA much, but that I think we need to talk about.
Well, the LA Lakers wasn't a good job. The NBA's not a good job when you're at UConn. A lot of times these guys want their name mentioned so that they get more money from the university, get more security from the university. I wouldn't go to the Lakers either. Those guys don't listen to you.
Oh, yeah.
You can't coach them.
Oh, we've seen some college coaches fail. How about Rick Pitino with Boston? I mean, that's one right there. And there's been several. Tim Floyd, he failed at Chicago Bulls. So, guys that are in college, they just don't seem to make it in the NBA. It's just like college coaching in football going to the NFL. Look at Matt Rule. He wasn't a very good coach with the Carolina Panthers. And I mean, it's just been one thing after another with some of these coaches. College, if you're comfortable with it, stay with it. Hey, he's with UConn. He got a really good job, like you said, Smokin' Jim. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what the Lakers try to do to get a coach. Who do you think would coach that team?
There's a lot of people that will, but you have to. The head coach is LeBron James. So you got to answer. Answer to him. You got to do what LeBron wants you to do. And when So they may have to do like Boston did. Boston went after a young coach from West Virginia University with no head coaching experience, but had a good head on his shoulder. And look where he's at now. What's he, like 35 years old or something like that?
Yes,
33?
absolutely. Yes.
And he got Boston Celtics ready to win a world championship. So I think that's the best way to go. Somebody who got a good head on their shoulder with no head coaching experience and just come in sort of like Coach Tomlin.
Yeah.
Let the assistant coaches and the players do it all. Win with coward players and cowards coaches and everything else, and just kind of be there for the media.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just like that.
Well, Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw called mediocre Mike a cheerleader, and actually, when you think about it, he kind of is that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a guy that's just there, and then he hires all these yes men assistants, and you know it, and I know it. We've seen it for a while now. How he hires all. But he has some pretty good assistants this year. Arthur Smith. He brought in that Azanian guy to coach quarterbacks with Mike Sullivan, and he's Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. We'll see how if Russell Wilson goes beyond 1 year. Do you think the Steelers will pay him, or do you think this is Justin Fields' team?
It's Justin Fields' team.
Okay.
After this year,
right?
Yeah, it's just, in my opinion. I mean, I think it may go down in history as a mistake. A guy wins the Super Bowl for you, and then you run him off for, hey, listen, Coach Tomlin loves Justin Fields. And I think he made him a promise for him to come here and sit on the bench and say, yeah, you're going to be Steve Young, but this is Joe Montana for one season. And I think that was the conversation, I believe. And so Russell Wilson will go somewhere else, and Justin Fields will be promoted to that starting job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I agree with you on that. I think, Justin Fields is going to be here for a little while, and I hope that the Steelers really commit to him. And you know what? Don't forget, we have Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen's no slouch. This guy backed up Josh Allen, won games with Buffalo. So this guy is our third string quarterback. Our quarterback room went from mediocre to being actually quite decent here, and even way better than last year.
Well, they end up getting a quarterback from Mississippi that is very good. He's only 5'11", white guy. He can run like the wind, and he's a former baseball player too. So he could be. I would not be surprised for him to make the team. They may try to hide him on the practice squad for a year, but he can really play as well. So they got some guys who can get the job done. They don't have no Duck Hodges. They blew it with Duck. But, this is the best group they've had since Duck.
Yeah, for a while. All right, coming up at 5 here, we are going to have Ray Fittipaldo. He's going to be live from the Steeler training facility, and that's coming up here in a few seconds here as soon as I get him. Hey, Ray, Ralph Williams here from Sportscorner. It's great to have you on today.
Hey, Ralph, how are you?
All right, good. Ray, say hello to Smokin Jim.
Smokin Jim, how you doing today?
Hey, my man Ray, what's going on, baby?
Not too much. First day of mini camp here at the Steelers. A busy day with Mike Tomlin signing his extension and a whole bunch of storylines going on down here in the South Side today.
All right. Well, why don't you bring us up to speed on some of this, Ray? What's going on?
Yeah, listen, everyone heard the news yesterday about, Mike Tomlin signing his contract extension. I think, the news today, Najee Harris was not here. Mike Tomlin said it was an excused absence. And, I think, we all went around the locker room today, and, it was pretty universal. Every Steelers veteran in that locker room praised, ownership for signing Mike Tomlin. He's got a lot of fans in that locker room. So I know the Steelers fan base is critical of Tomlin's recent postseason record, but he still has, a pretty strong audience in that locker room among the players. And to him, I'm sure that's all that matters.
All right. We have Ray Fittipaldo from the Post-Gazette who covers the Steelers with us. He's live from the Steelers training facility on the south side. I'm going to say that in the Pittsburgh way, the south side. So he's down there, and we want to welcome him here to Sports Corner. And so Ray is brought to you in part by the original hometown pizza, Moon Township, right on University Boulevard, 412-264-4444. When you call today, tell them Ralph Williams sent you, Sports Corner sent you, and you will get a discount on your order. Eat in, take out, or delivery if you live in the Moon. So the original hometown pizza. All right, Ray, tell us a little. What was the thing going into signing Cam Sutton?
Yeah, listen, you've had me on. We've talked about that possibility here for I think the last couple of months. Ever since that situation unfolded and he became a free agent again. So, you take away the off the field issues. I know his legal situation still has to be settled. The commissioner's office, has to weigh in on that. But if you want to look at it from a football perspective, and let's say he's suspended for 2 or 3 games, I still think if you get Cam Sutton for 14 games, you put him in the slot where he's probably more effective than he was on the outside in Detroit. I think it makes all the sense in the world, especially given the fact that you're only paying him about $1 million this year, the cheapest you could pay a guy, the veteran minimum. So, I know there's a portion of the fan base that, might be concerned with those off the field issues, and I get that. But if you just want to look at it from a football perspective, I think it's a good signing.
All right, Smokin, Jimmy, have any questions for Ray?
Yeah, Ray said it best. Cam Sutton's a chess piece. He can play outside, both corners. He can play the slot. He can blitz the quarterback. He can play safety in the pinch. He can return punts for you. I think the only drawback is how many games he'll get suspended, whether it's 2 or 3 or 8 games. So we just got to wait and see. But to get Cam Sutton, who was scheduled to make $12 million this year, for only the league minimum of $1 million is incredible.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. It's almost like a no-brainer. If you're the Steelers, and let's say it's even 4 games, if you get him for 75% of the season, it's better than what you had on the current roster, before he got here. So, pretty good move there by Omar Khan, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I think Omar Khan has managed to bring in good players at a discount, and actually, believe it or not, I like the patience right now of trying to get a star wide receiver in here and not paying too much or not giving up draft picks like the Las Vegas Raiders. I read a report that the Las Vegas Raiders were offering us Devontae Adams for a bunch of draft picks, and I know the Steelers are not that dumb to give up all their draft picks like that. Similar to what Mike Ditka did down at the Saints, gave up his whole draft for Ricky Williams. So we don't want to do anything that stupid anyway, Ray. But tell us a little more about what's going on at minicamp today.
Yeah, minicamp, Ralph, has changed over the years. It used to be in pads, now it's without pads. The NFLPA, putting some new rules that it can't be like a training camp practice, but it was a little bit different today. They did 2-minute drill at the end of practice to finish it out. That's a drill that you usually see at training camp. So they were kind of getting their feet wet, putting that on the agenda today so they can, have their footing under them once they get to training camp. So, you see a few different things, but really it's an extension of voluntary OTAs, pretty much a regular practice. I think at this point of the off season here, I think we're all looking forward to practices up at St. Vincent in pads. That's when you really find out who's a football player and who's not.
Yeah, my question to you, Ray, real quick. How are all the draft picks doing?
Good. They're still, even the offensive linemen, Troy Fautanu and Zach Frazier, the first 2 picks, they're still working with the second-team offense. The Steelers are not in any hurry to, crown them as starters at this point. Certainly not this early in the offseason. That's going to be a major storyline once we get to camp. So, both those guys look good. Peyton Wilson's a really good athlete. You just watch him. Like, you can't really tell about Frazier and Fautanu in shorts, but you can see Wilson run around, and you can see he's as advertised. The injuries are one thing, but that guy's a terrific athlete. Roman Wilson, I was a little bit surprised. He's got a smaller frame. He's a little thinner than I thought he would be, but he's out here doing a good job as a receiver, and he'll be in that mix to possibly be the number 2 next to George Pickens.
Any more questions for Ray there, Smokin' Jim?
Yeah, just one. It's good to hear that my old pro left tackle Dan Moore is still in the starting lineup. But Ray, if we could, if we knew going into the season, the Steelers had a lot of success with rookie wide receivers from Mike Wallace to Chase Claypool, to some others. So if we could get that kind of production out of Roman Wilson, would you be satisfied with where the receiver roster is right now, or would you still want to go and pay for it better?
It's an interesting discussion, Jim. You mentioned Claypool and Wallace. I mean, those guys have Ben Roethlisberger as their quarterback. I think I think Ben had a great quality about making the young guys look good, and he certainly did that with those guys and many others over the years. We still don't know what the Steelers have in their quarterback situation right now. So, I tend to think that Wilson probably slots in better as a number 3 as a rookie. We'll see. Maybe he can surprise me. So listen, if there's a bargain to be had out there, let's say you can get a guy like Ayuk or somebody, for not a lot in draft capital, maybe they do that. That's going to cost a lot of money. But, the way that I look at this roster, guys, I think it's pretty set on offense. They got the line, they got the quarterback, they got the running backs. The only thing missing is the receivers. And if they consider themselves a serious Super Bowl contender, I think they probably have to address that at some point. I'm not saying now. At some point before or early in the season, I think they got to get that straightened out.
My question to you, Ray, is how's Arthur Smith's offense working with the players? Do they like the offense, and are we going to see a little more of the tight end?
Yeah, we got to talk to Arthur Smith for the first time today, and really, we got to talk to him on draft night. But it was mostly about the draft picks. And today was the first extensive interview we got with him, and he was really open about his philosophy, and he talked about the receivers and everything. So, the players are buying into his system. They like that, especially the linemen. They like that it's a run-based offense. I know Dan Moore has talked about, nobody wants to drop back and pass protect 45 times a game. You want to be going forward as a lineman and dictating, the pace of the game. So the linemen love it. I think the quarterbacks are all stepping in the line. So we'll see what happens. But I think Arthur certainly is going to be an upgrade over Matt Canada. And, we'll see what he does here, shortly once we get to training camp.
Smokin' Jim, you have any more questions for Ray?
No, Ray nailed it as usual.
Oh, yes, he does. Ray, how's the quarterback? I mean, I know Russell Wilson's the starter. Justin Fields is right behind him. Kyle Allen, how is the quarterback room looking this year at minicamp?
Yes, Arthur Smith reiterated today that Wilson is in pole position, repeating what Mike Tomlin said earlier in the offseason. So, but he did say that, things will heat up in training camp. I'm sure that's going to be a major, thing that the fans are going to want to look at and read about, this summer. People want to know, do they have a long-term, quarterback on this team, or are they going to have to restart again in 2025? I think the fans kind of want to see that situation settled as well. So it'll be interesting to see if Wilson's that guy, maybe Fields is that guy, but we're not going to know that until September. But July and August sure will be interesting with those guys taking reps up in Latrobe.
Ray, thanks for being part of the program today. Really appreciate you coming on, sharing with us about what's going on at minicamp. And it's great that you called straight from minicamp down there on the south side, as the Pittsburgh people would say, south side. So, Smokin' Jim, anything else for Ray?
No, hey, Thanks again, Ray. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right. Okay, Ray Fittipaldo, thank you again for being part of the program. We'll be in touch again sometime soon. Thank you.
All right, guys. See you later.
All right, that was Ray Fittipaldo from the Post-Gazette, who covers the Steelers. And I got to tell you, Smokin' Jim, he really gave us a lot of information from minicamp.
Yes, he did, man. I tell you what, man, that was huge. The booking machine was able to book him right after he got done talking to Arthur Smith.
Oh, yeah.
BS for Najee Harris not to be there. Najee's pouting. He won't talk to the media. This is the only day that the veteran players had to talk to the media, and all of a sudden he gets the day off because he didn't want to talk to the media. I think that's BS on Najee's part. This is the only time all summer long thus far that the media would have gotten a chance to talk to the players, and Najee all of a sudden had another obligation.
Oh, yeah.
It's BS.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Something big time, Smokin' Jim. Smokin' Jim, let's talk a little bit about this Caitlin Clark thing. She has stepped up, and now people are starting to watch the WNBA. The other girl from LSU, that got drafted as well. There's been some talk on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is about what's the words going back and forth between them. Your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, I predicted it. Listen, I call her Johnny Manziel. She's the next Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel loved college football, but he hated the NFL. And Caitlin Clark cannot be having fun in the WNBA. She's on a losing team. She's never won a championship in high school, college. She'll never win one in the pros. Everything's me. She got to learn leadership skills. She got to spend a weekend with Paul Skeens. That's a leader.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, she's not playing good defense. Everything is surrounded around her, and she has to be able to learn to bring her other players into the conversation that would make them play a little bit better and make them feel a little bit better as her as a leader. She didn't make the Olympic team, so what? The first thing she said is bringing out the monster in me. Me. She should have said,
yeah.
I'm already on the team. You know what I mean? I play for the Indiana Fever. We got a couple other girls that's qualified for the Olympics too, but we didn't make it, so we're going to try to do what we can to win more games for our fans that love us. But everything is just surrounded around her, me. She'll never win. She's not going to like the WNBA and professional basketball, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's out of it within 5 years.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, she could be what they call a flash in the pan, Smokin' Jim. You know what I mean? One of these people.
She should have went back, Ralph. She should have
went back to Iowa.
Yes. To Iowa. She was already rich.
Yes.
There's nothing like we had the coach from Slippery Rock on the phone. Man, if you ever go to a West Virginia football game, I'm telling you, Ralph, ain't nothing like it. You'd be surprised. Number one, you can't get tickets. But West Virginia football game, from burning the couches, it's crazy. They love it. And that's the same way they loved it in Iowa when she played basketball. And it's not going to be the same in the WNBA for her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're right. Like you said, she's another Johnny Manziel. And, Johnny Manziel didn't make it. There's been a lot of – we had this discussion Saturday on the External Bum Show, Smokin' Jim, about, some of these bust first-round picks in football. And we always do that with our bum segment. Your thoughts on Marcano, Tutupico Marcano, the former Pirate who got involved in gambling, and now he's going to probably be banned for life from baseball. Your thoughts on this gambling stuff?
Well, his biggest problem is he didn't make $750 million like the Japanese player that bet on everything, including his own team. But all of a sudden, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the ex-Pirates bookie because he only won 4% of his bets. I mean, the bookie is mad. he was making a killing off this guy.
Oh yeah,
96% of his bets he lost. But hey, man, it's just a shame. You know, I hated this. You know, see the guy's career end like that. But the one thing you cannot bet on is baseball and your own team. Even though the Japanese player did and got away with it.
Yeah, well, you know, Smokin' Jim, this guy here, you know, I've always said this, and I've said this many times on my other on other shows here that I do. Stupid never takes a vacation, and that guy was completely stupid for betting on his own team and thinking he could get away with it. I mean, come on, you know, that was something else, man. You know, so anyway. All right, here's what we're going to do, Smokin' Jim. We're going to get started with wrestling a little early. I reached out to Bubba Brewer. He's going to come on early. We have a lot to talk about today as far as wrestling goes in our wrestling segment. So if Bubba comes on early, we'll get started right away with the Wrestle Talk. And also don't forget, everybody, and I've changed everything around because I'm waiting for the person who does our graphics and our videos to get everything done. This month we will not be going on PCTV. It will start in July. I'm going on a vacation and I'm taking off. RW Media Productions will not be airing any shows from July 3rd to July 10th. I'm taking a break. I'm going to do some fishing, some relaxing, and enjoy myself up in Erie. And I just want to let everyone know that as well. Mark it on your calendar. Nothing from July 3rd to July 10th. So that means 2 weeks we will not be on. Well, we'll be on the 2nd, which is before the 4th, but we will not be on the 9th. So Sports Corner show here. So don't forget about that. Next week, I got to tell you what, the booking machine is at it again, man. I got Artie Source coming on from Galaxy Sports, and I've reached out to Amped Up Sports. We're going to have a guy come on. He is going to come on and talk with us about the Houston Texans. Wow, we really have a show for you, and I'm working on some other guests as well. You know, I am the booking machine, working on getting Bob Cook on, who is a former WCW wrestler, king of the squash matches. He was the guy that, he fought Ric Flair, he fought Harley Race, Jerry the King Lawler, and much, much more. All right, when we come back after these words, we're going to have more, or we're going to get started with our wrestling segment. And so Smokin' Jim and I will be right back right after these words.
I'm Ralph Williams here today to talk to you about the Boxing Authorities TV program. The Boxing Authorities is a TV show that talks about boxing with Luther Dupree Jr., Claudio Rosano, and Smokin' Jim Frazier. Tune in to the Boxing Authorities on PCTV, Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable in Allegheny County, and also on PCTV's Facebook page. Also, don't forget to tune in to them on the Chatterbox Network and also on the WBC networks as well. The Boxing Authorities is a real intensive program. It talks about all the different boxing matches coming up. They break down every match and they break down all the legends, and also they have guests on the show as well. The Boxing Authorities. Tune in today, and I tell you, they are the best in boxing authorities. That's why they're the Boxing Authorities. Pro Wrestling, Sunday, June 23rd, 2024, 3 p.m., S&T Bank Arena. It's called Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. EC3 will make an appearance, the NWA World Champion, and a whole lot more. Great entertainment for the family, family-friendly. $25 for the first 2 rows, $20 for the floor, and $15 general admission. Get your tickets now for Evolution, brought to you by Allied Powers Wrestling Federation.
Speaking of that, Smokin' Jim, you and I are going to be there for that. I can't wait to go to this event. It's my very first independent wrestling event that I'm going to, and I know I'm going to like it. I know Bubba's going to have a great show there. I think it's going to be great. Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim?
I'm looking forward to it too. It's going to be my first independent wrestling show as well, and I've always wanted to go to Trapper Tom's events, but scheduling conflicts. But I can't wait to get there, and I know Bubba's going to do it big time. Oh
yeah, big time is right. You know it. Smokin' Jim, did you check out Raw last night. It seemed to be kind of crazy last night. They had a match between Finn Balor and and Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest said that he could beat him without the Judgment Day, and if he won that match last night, there was going to be a he was going to be able to fight him without without the Judgment Day. Your thoughts on that?
Well, everybody came ringside except for Dom. Well, I got a feeling that Dom may show up and help out.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't really know or think that that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is I think they're going to be able to hang on a second, Smokin' Jim. I'm trying to get Bubba his invite here so he can get on the air with us here. I forgot to do that because I got wrapped up with this equipment stuff here today, and I forgot to give him his invite. How you like that one? So yeah. So there we are. Let me see if I can get him in here. There we go. All right. But anyway, Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on last night's Raw?
I tell you what, man, I enjoyed it, man. It was great. I thought Finn Balor had a shot there for a while, but anytime you get to see the EST and her tag team partner, those are two beautiful young ladies, man. They got a figure out of this world, so I think they may hold on to that tag team title for a while. And I tell you what, man, somebody's going to get killed because, Braun Breaker is destroying people, bro. He's absolutely destroying people. Did you see what he did after the match to Flippy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I saw that. And Ricochet is on his way out anyway. His contract is up. So what I'm, and I'm hearing he may be going to AEW. So we'll see what happens with Ricochet. But it was sad to see how he did that. And it was just crazy. And then he went after that Dragunov or whatever, that guy. He went after him in the back even after the match was over. And that Dragunov can wrestle. That guy can really wrestle. I mean, and I try to tell people that, it doesn't make any difference what this guy looks like and what Braun Breaker does. He goes up against somebody, that's, experienced like him. He was NXT champion. And so speaking of NXT, Smokin' Jim, real quick, Trick Williams beat Ethan Page, who came in from AEW and immediately got a title shot against Trick Williams. And Trick beat him in that pay-per-view that just happened this weekend.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought Ethan Page was going to beat him because, Ethan Page is a really good young wrestler. And I actually kind of thought that was going to happen there. All right, we're here in Sports Corner. We're waiting for Bubba. I just sent him his invite. He'll be joining us shortly here. Bubba Brewer from Allied Powers Wrestling. In fact, here's Bubba right now, Smokin' Jim. I'm going to get him on the air here with us in just a second here. All right, there we are. Let me get him on here. And boom, he's on the air, I think.
Boom.
Hold on. There he is. There he is. All right. Bubba, thank you. I apologize for that. I'm using some new equipment today and ran into some technical issues and, fuddling with wires and everything else.
I totally understand doing 2 podcasts myself, so I know about all the technical difficulty that you're going through, Ralph.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it happens, especially when you have a new mixer. So, But anyway, Bubba, welcome to the program. Smokin' Jim, say hello to Bubba.
Hey, what's up, my man, Bubba? Can't wait to see you on the 23rd, brother.
Yeah, I can't wait to have you up to Indiana, PA there, Smokin' Jim, and meet you finally. And you and Ralph, you got your media credentials. Will be at the desk.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I appreciate that as well. So, but anyway, all right, we got Noel here who always wants to hear or has something about DeMarcus Russell. So let's see what he has to say here. The rumor is the dark horse starting quarterback for the Steelers is going to be DeMarcus Russell. He always comes on, Noel. He's a big DeMarcus Russell bum fan. DeMarcus Russell was a complete bum. And so, but anyway, Bubba, tell us a little bit about some of your podcasts before we get started with wrestling here.
Well, I've been doing podcasts since 2018, Ralph, and I was doing a show called the Triple B Experience where I was doing Steelers, wrestling, and pulp culture. But I have a friend in Australia, Mark from Steelers Nation, Australia. He's like, hey, Bubba, you got to have your Steelers on one podcast and your other stuff on another podcast because the algorithms, are all really decisive. So recently, myself and my co-host Shane Stodmiller, we started to do the Steelers Dynasty podcast every Wednesday nights at 9:00, and I still do my Triple B Experience where I promote all the local independent wrestling shows that are going on the weekends that I know of. Sometimes I don't know about it, but also do talk wrestling. We do our picks, and then we do like pulp culture, movies and TV and stuff like that. And I also interview people too. So I have one-on-one interviews. So I'm doing a lot of stuff, plus running a wrestling company.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Bubba, tell us this. What led you to bring the wrestling, the Allied Powers Wrestling back?
Well, the Allied Powers Wrestling started in 1998 in Punxsutawney. A man by Chris Lash founded it. Okay, and I wrestled for him, and I was a champion in all of his promotions, heavyweight title, tag team titles, and other secondary titles. And I got to be the owner of the company in the mid-2000s. And then let's just say it wasn't going the way I wanted it to go financially, and it's very, very hard to run a wrestling company. So I got officially out of the APWF in 2010. So it's been 14 years, guys, since I ran a wrestling show. And the reason why I'm doing it is two of the local guys that were my tag team champions, Mr. Team Tap Out, which is Mr. Tap Out, Donnie Fulmer, and Full Contact, Chris Coleman. And Chris Coleman is the world beater in other wrestling federations in Pennsylvania. He's a champion in Imagine Wrestling. But this is the only time, win, lose, or draw, that these two could get together. And that's why I wanted to do it, because it ties in like a Hollywood type ending. Win, lose, or draw. They're brothers in outside and inside the ring. I've known these guys for over 20 some years, and they are, when you speak about class and integrity, you speak Chris Coleman and Donnie Fulmer. So
yeah, I apologize, Bubba, that my face is not up here today.
That's okay.
I'm having a sinus problem.
That's
so
okay.
I don't want to be, You don't
whatever. Get me cold. Don't get me sick. I'm busy.
No, I won't do that. I've had the sinus problem for years, Bubba.
That's okay.
Let's get started with some wrestling talk here for a minute. TNA Impact. AJ Francis, formerly known as your buddy Top Dollar there, Bubba, actually won the Impact Digital Championship. So what's your thoughts on AJ Francis, formerly known as Top Dollar, winning a title?
Well, Top Dollar is probably not earning Top Dollar, but hey, God bless him, and he's still working. He's still getting that experience, and hopefully he can come back around and maybe come back to the WWE if Triple H will have him. But now he's, that's not a bad gig doing that stuff right there for Impact and TNA. That's not bad at all.
Because it's looking like there's going to be a collaboration here of TNA and WWE. Jordy Grace showing up in NXT and everything.
Don't get me started on that pay-per-view that happened Sunday night. I was not happy one bit, but
I was surprised Trick Williams beat Ethan Page. I was shocked about that one. I actually thought Ethan Page was going to pull that off. Trick Williams showed me something.
I did too. My problem is I don't know a lot of these newer guys, and I cannot believe that Grace, in my opinion, took that pinfall. They could have did something a little differently, but taking a pinfall when you're a champion kind of weakens the title in my eyes. But
what
do I know?
Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on this Top Dollar?
I remember him when he was with the WWE, and I also remember when he played in the NFL. He wasn't too bad of a football player. He was above average, but he was always big and strong. Looked like when his last few months in the WWE, he was starting to lose weight, and his skin was starting to get a little bit loose. So, but he was still able to pick up two guys at one time. So Top Dollar was always a strong guy, but I was surprised he won the championship.
Oh yeah, we have for Against All Odds. This card don't look too bad, guys. World Championship match: Moose versus Matt Hardy. And I got to tell you, TNA now, even though if you don't get Access TV, is now on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock on the, or not Sunday, yeah, Sunday night, 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, 11 o'clock on Sportsnet, Pittsburgh, if you have it on cable.
I did not
It's
know
on
that.
at 10 o'clock or 11, I'm sorry, 11 o'clock on Sunday night. And you can check it out. And I watched it, and Moose actually went after Matt Hardy, beat the crap out of him in the back room, slammed his head into the garage door. I mean, it was just crazy. He went out the way he was going after deletion, Matt Hardy. So he's going to fight Moose for the title. The Nemeth brothers are going to fight the System with Eddie Edwards. That's Nick Nemeth and his brother Ryan, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler. And they're going to fight against the System for the World Tag Team belts. That ought to be an interesting match. Your thoughts, Bubba? First, we'll start with you because you're our guest. We'll start with you first on this card.
Any brothers that win titles is always good. That'll give them some notoriety. And, you know, Dolph Ziggler been kicking butt everywhere he's been going, but he hasn't won anything in Impact and TNA. So maybe him and his brother can come together and win the straps. That'll
Yes,
look good.
absolutely. Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim, on the Nemeth brothers winning the title?
Well, I tell you what, I always liked Dolph Ziggler, so you know that's always a good thing, man. He always been always had a good role. His role in wrestling's always been pretty good in and outside the ring.
All right, guys. Now we're going to talk a little bit about ROH real fast. I have nothing really to talk about other than June 26th in Arlington, Texas, Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. I read a report yesterday that there's a possibility that there's been a meeting between Scott D'Amore and Tony Khan. Scott D'Amore may be running ROH. We'll start with you, Bubba.
That'd be great. They need somebody that knows what's going on. They have all that talent and, you know, storylines and character development. Scotty D'Amore knows what he's doing, and TNA should never let him go.
One other match I forgot to mention, too. Mike Santana. Remember Santana and Ortiz?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Santana's teaming up with Smokin' Jim's guy here, Steve Macklin, versus the Rascals. That ought to be an interesting match. Your thoughts, Bubba?
Well, I might have to cook my pizza. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not a big match for me to have my eyes glued.
Mustafa Ali's the X Division champion there. So, you know, It seems like all the old WWE guys are doing somewhat well for themselves, not quite well. And here's your boy here, EC3, will be defending his NWA World title in France on July 6th. And then also, don't forget, on the 22nd, he's going to be in Cleveland before he comes to the Indiana PA.
He's actually going to be defending it Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday.
Wow!
I just saw him this past weekend at Rise Wrestling defend his title.
I saw that. I saw that posting.
He wrestled Pretty Boy Smooth, and Pretty Boy Smooth won by disqualification. But I mean, EC3 is legitly, he is stacked. You know, he's the NWA World Champion, and in having the NWA World Championship that's never been defended in Indiana, Pennsylvania, never ever. Bruno Sammartino has been here, but nobody from the NWA with the world title.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great event, Bubba. And from what the card I've seen,
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
I bet you're nervous.
I'm stressed out. I'm waiting for my wrestling ring. I'm waiting to get everything done. Running a wrestling company, Ralph, is a lot harder. And sometimes I wish I just kept into podcasting.
Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on all of what Bubba and I were just talking about?
No, I think you guys wrapped it up, put it on a nice bow. Mustafa Ali, where is he wrestling at now?
He's in TNA Impact. He is the X Division title champion. That's where he is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime. MLW celebrating 22-year anniversary this year. Bobby Fish will be taking on, I believe. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Matt Riddle also won a battle royal there. He's in MLW for the #1 contendership match, and also Bobby Fish is involved in that in MLW. Your thoughts? We'll start with you, Bubba.
Well, I did see that battle royal. I think it was Riot, MLL Riot or something. They always do it
Right.
for the Royal Rumble. And Matt Riddle did. I figured writing on the wall when he was the last four, he was probably going to win it. But I be honest with you, I am in love, as crazy as it sounds, is the actor from Cobra Kai, Stingray. He is getting bookings everywhere. He was in this battle royal, and he actually tossed a couple people out. So for a guy who's an actor who won some big giant awards, he's actually, I don't care what anybody says, he's very entertaining, and he's actually practicing the craft of professional wrestling, and he's getting gigs everywhere across the United States. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get started with WWE here. Smokin' Jim's girlfriend, Piper Niven here, is going to be fighting Bayley for her title at the Clash of the Castle. Your thoughts, Bubba? As I said, you're our guest, so we're going to start with you for every topic here. Your thoughts on this card?
Well,
let's get started with the card here a little bit. WWE Women's Title Championship, Bayley versus Piper Niven. Bubba.
It's a great story. Piper Niven coming home, doing all the, the rah-rah, but Bayley will retain. Niven cannot carry that company on her shoulders herself. Bayley will win.
All right. How about you, Smokin' Jim? Your thoughts? Your girlfriend, Piper Niven, you taking? Or Bayley?
Well, I tell you what, man, it's Bayley will figure out a way to win. Bayley will figure out a way to win.
Absolutely. The dangerous one right now, guys, I believe, is Nia Jax. You know, she's the number one contender because she's queen of the ring. She is dangerous.
Jax. I picked Nia Jax to be the queen. I am probably 1% of Nia Jax. And you guys know we used to do the wrestling show.
Right.
I was always I'm still a Nia Jax fan to this day.
I remember when Mark would call her Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Nia Jax. So anyway, all right, women's tag team title here. This is going to be interesting. Triple threat match. You have Alba Fry and Isla Dawn. And also you have what's your face there? Oh, gosh, I'm losing track of their names here. Here we go. Shayna Baszler and her partner there. Oh, man, Zoe Stark. And they're going to be also in the ring with Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, title match. Smokin' Jim, we'll start with you this time.
The EST and Cargill, nobody can beat them in tag team matchups. It's just too much.
All right. How about you, Bubba?
They are the new version of the Road Warriors. Nobody's them. It'll take 3 teams to beat those 2.
I actually was surprised last night when AOP lost to Miz and R-Truth, but I wasn't surprised either because them guys are really experienced. AOP is just a flash in the pan. Every time they come around, they don't do much. They were champs for a little while, and then they got hurt and, kind of disappeared, like a fart in the wind. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But now they're back. They're in a faction. And I'm hearing, I read a report today, Drew McIntyre, after he's done with this match with Damian Priest, is starting a faction. He's going to have about 4 guys with him. Some of the predictions are Sheamus and a few other guys. If you thought Drew McIntyre was going to have a faction, Smokin' Jim, we'll start with you. Who do you think he would pick?
Wow. He met with banger after banger after banger in the locker room yesterday. So maybe he'll start with Sheamus.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Bubba?
Does he really need anybody? I mean, in that last last night he beat everybody up. Why would he need anybody?
Remember when he was in that faction, the League of Nations? I remember when he was in there. He was in that other faction. Was it 2 Rock 2 or something like that? He was in there with Jinder Mahal and
he was.
What's
he
his
was,
face?
He
Heath
playing,
Slater.
He was playing air guitar.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the Clash of the Castle card. Intercontinental title: Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. You know what? Chad Gable's another dangerous guy. Here's a guy who, is really set on beating Sami Zayn, taking his title, and he has some losers working with him right now. So your thoughts, Bubba?
Chad Gable takes the Intercontinental title.
All right, Smokin' Jim.
Yeah, I think so. I've been treading that way as well. That Gable will end up winning.
All right, how about undisputed WWE Championship? Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in an I Quit match. This is a tough one here. This is going to be one heck of a, as Jim Ross would say, a Donnybrook. So your thoughts, Bubba?
Well, that's going to be a tough one. It'll be the match of the night, but Cody Rhodes will retain. And I don't know what they're going to do with AJ after that. I have no idea.
Well, who knows? Maybe he'll go back with the, him and the OC will go somewhere. Who knows? So, all right, Smokin' Jim, your thoughts. Undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in an I Quit match.
Well, if Cody Rhodes couldn't see that sucker punch coming, maybe he's slipping a little bit, man. I may have to go with AJ Styles, man.
Woo.
All right, World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. No Judgment Day. Bubba.
Damian Priest does not move the meter for me. I'd have to make a sandwich and go bake a cake. No offense to anybody. I understand. He just doesn't. He just doesn't move the meter for me. I've always been a Drew McIntyre fan. When Drew got screwed over last time when he faced Roman Reigns, that'll be redemption. Winning in your home turf will be something in his home country. And hopefully, because they're going to have him with the belt because CM Punk is coming around the bend. So it's going to go. I'm going with Drew all the way.
Yeah, I sort of want Drew to win this match. I'm not a Damian Priest fan, but I will give Damian Priest credit though. And I had this discussion with Peter Blake last Wednesday down in Tampa on the Sports Web. We do a segment at 10:30 called the You're invited to come on, Bubba and Smokin' Jim. You guys call in. I'll give you the number. You can call in and talk with us. Myself and Peter Blake. We do a show called Turnbuckle Talk, and we were talking about how Damian Priest's mic skills have somewhat having improved just a little, I think.
Yeah,
your thoughts, Smokin' Jim?
Well, I think I'm going to side with Bubba because I like to see Drew McIntyre get the belt for two reasons. One, I think he deserves it. Number two, I think that Damian Priest and Finn Balor is better as a tag team. They need to get back together as a tag team and get that tag team belt, and I think that will lead them down that road.
All right, okay, guys. Your thoughts, Bubba, on his mic skills and all. Damian Priest.
He's gotten better. He's in better shape than he was when he was in ROH. They put the strap on him because he actually worked towards getting that strap, so I can't deny that. I'm just not a Damian Priest fan of right now. So he's just not moving the meter for me. And he's going against Drew, who I'm a very big fan of Drew. So I'm always going to take Drew over probably mostly anybody on the roster.
All right, guys. Let's talk a little bit about AEW for a minute here. Oh, actually, I wanted to say this. Ricochet's contract's running out. Where do you think he goes, Bubba?
Well, I'd stay home for a little bit. I don't know. He went through he got put through a window last night by Braun Breaker. He's not going to get up, he's not going to get up and do cartwheels right now, but I just don't know, Ralph, because his high spots, he's great at doing all that stuff, but sometimes mat wrestling is what people want to see, including myself. I'm not into that high flying stuff unless it's like a Superfly Snuka kind of thing, because it just doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
Breaking news, guys, just came up here. American competitive eater Joey Chestnut, my man, has ignited smokestacks before the game between the New York City FC and the Atlanta United at Yankee Stadium, and now he is banned from this year's Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
What happened?
He got involved in some kind of soccer event or something, and he did something, and now Nathan's Hot Dog said that that's inappropriate behavior, so they banned him from this year's Nathan's Hot Dog.
So what'd he do? Eat a hamburger?
I guess he did something here. It didn't really say. All it says is, hold on a minute here. I got to find a report. Here it is. It says that before the game between the New York City FC and Atlanta United at Yankee Stadium, mandatory credit Vincent Chardetta, USA Today Sports has reported Joey Chestnut has become unquestionable face of the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest over the past several years. But he will not be permitted to take part in the event this year. Steve Guzzo of the New York Post reported on Tuesday that Chestnut has been banned from participating in this year's hot dog eating contest because of a 40-year-old recent decision to sign an endorsement deal with vegan brand Impossible Foods. Okay, so there you go.
It's crazy. All right. No one's going to watch it. Who's going to watch it now?
Nobody.
Right.
Because that's my man. And he's getting ready to retire anyway, guys. Your thoughts on Joey Chestnut real quick before we get back into wrestling. Smokin' Jim.
I don't know too much about it, man. I just know he eats a lot of hot dogs.
I was watching the one during COVID, and he the night before he did the hot dog eating contest, he was in New Orleans at a pizza contest that he won, pizza eating contest. So, this guy is just crazy. Your thoughts, Bubba?
He trains to eat, and I know I'm a big guy, and I know he could beat me. I couldn't eat like that, but I would try. I would try a hamburger instead of all them hot dogs. That's what.
Oh yeah, there you go. Absolutely, a hamburger eating contest.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You could go to Oakland and go to that place called Stacks. It's on Forbes Avenue, I think. And if you go in there, they got this real big, huge burger. I think it's got like 7 or 8 patties on it.
Oh,
it's huge. And if you can eat that, they give it to you for free and give you a T-shirt or something.
Yeah, and maybe my 20s, not now.
I think we're too old for that, Bubba.
Yeah.
I think we're all like that. So Smokin' Jim likes the Golden Corral. So there you go. But I'm kind of staying away from places like that lately. I've been dropping my weight down, trying to get down to a certain weight. I got to get a bunch of surgery. So. It's crazy there.
It's all right, guys. It's hard to do.
I'm sorry, Bubba.
I said it's hard to do. Believe me, take it from me. I'm a big guy too. It's hard. It's very hard.
Oh yeah, it's bad. I've struggled with weight my whole life, and it's just
me too.
It's crazy about what's going on here. Okay, AEW's Forbidden Door. This is the one where they fight all the New Japan wrestling guys, and they go up against AEW guys. Bubba, your thoughts on this? On what's going on here?
AEW was good a couple years ago. Now it's like old news for me. I used to want to watch it. The last pay-per-view was so long, I fell asleep in the second match. It's terrible.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. Their pay-per-views lately have been really long. But anyway, all right. Here's the updated card for Forbidden Door. Believe it or not, it's going to be AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. Champion versus champion. Your thoughts, Bubba?
Wow, would they give it to Will Ospreay so soon? Because that could happen. They love him, and he could be the champion after that pay-per-view. I like Swerve. I do like Swerve. He's come a long way, but I don't know if he's garnering the ratings. It's hard to say. Will or Swerve, both of them are great, but I'm going to say, due to the fact if I'm a gambler, I'm going to go with Will taking the title.
How about you, Smokin' Jim? It's going to be Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland, belt for belt at the Forbidden Door.
Well, one, I can't get enough of Don Callis. That's my man. I love it, but I tell you what, man, anybody that wear a fur coat in the middle of summertime, Swerve gets my vote, brother. If you can handle that, you can retain your title. So I'm gonna go with the Swerve, man.
All right, Tony Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. Your thoughts, Bubba?
Tony Storm retains. That is the only gimmick that AEW has that is natural and it's on fire. And they should let her have the belt and let her keep doing what she's doing.
Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim? Tony Storm?
Yeah.
All right. Next, AEW TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, versus the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion, Stephanie Bequer. Title for title. Smokin' Jim.
For real, it's hard to beat any of those Japanese wrestlers, but I gotta go with sexy. Man.
All right. How about you, Bubba?
Oh, the same. Good old Sasha Banks is what I call her. They paying her big money. They're not paying her big money to lose.
I know. There you go. All right. Konosuke Tashita versus Mark Briscoe for the ROH World Title, and it'll be in a ladder match. Or I'm sorry, no, it won't. The vacant TNT Championship ladder match will be going on as well, and it's going to be between Konosuke Tashita and Mark Briscoe. Your thoughts?
Me?
Bubba, yeah.
Oh, you said those Japanese names very well, Ralph.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mess them all up on my shows. I'm going to go with Mark Briscoe because it's a pay-per-view. It'll be something, and I think him, winning will be something. He's marketable. People still like the Briscoes.
Yeah, I like them too. In fact, I'm going to tell you this: I met them when I used to do security for ROH down at the Stage AE when they used to tape down there. So I met both Briscoes. Great guys, great people. All right, Smokin' Jim, your thoughts. Mark Briscoe?
Briscoe.
All right. The IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Jon Moxley versus Tetsuya Naito. Bubba.
Well, how long does it take for Moxley to bleed? And Moxley is so superhuman, he doesn't lose. So once again, I'm going to go with Jon Moxley because he just doesn't lose.
All right, I'm Jon Moxley. How about you, Smokin' Jim? Is it going to be three of us? All three of us agree?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir. I kind of thought, Smokin' Jim, you and I think alike. You, me, and Bubba. We think alike. All right, next, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. I'm taking Orange Cassidy in this. Your thoughts, Bubba?
Ooh, this would be a good one. I'm going to go with Sabre Jr.
All right, you Smokin' Jim.
Well, the Orange have been getting pounded lately, but he seemed to be able to recover okay. So I'm gonna keep going with freshly squeezed Orange.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one too. You know what, guys? This pay-per-view doesn't look all that great. Your thoughts, Bubba? What do you think? I don't think it's all that great.
No, it's not. And once you do Forbidden Door once, you don't need to do it every year. It doesn't pay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Your thoughts, Smokin' Jim, on this pay-per-view? I don't think it's going to be a good one. I don't think it's going to rate. I don't think anyone's going to watch it. I don't think so. What are your thoughts?
I'll watch it. I love it, man. I can't get enough of those Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, well, you know what? I refuse to pay for it, but I'll watch it on YouTube, whatever I can catch of it. So, I watched the first Double or Nothing for free. I was down in Raleigh, North Carolina. I watched it down there. Lit up a nice big fat cigar and watched it. So it was nice down there with that. All right, guys, your thoughts. Christopher Daniels, new executive VP, told off the Jackson brothers. Your thoughts, Bubba?
The Young Bucks ain't listening to him, and I'm not even a Young Bucks fan. They're not listening to Christopher Daniels.
All right, how about you, Smokin' Jim?
I gotta agree with Bubba.
All right, guys. We got about 5 minutes left. Bubba, tell everybody about your new wrestling company, your events coming up, and I think you have one coming in August and one deep into the fall there down in Johnstown, correct?
That is correct. Now this June 23rd at the S&T Bank Arena, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock will be the meet and greet with the NWA World Heavyweight Champion EC3. We're going to have 8 to 9 exciting matches. You can get tickets at the door. You can get tickets at www.apwfwrestling.com. And after that show, it was only supposed to be one show, gentlemen. I was only going to do one show, but one show turned into now taking the APWF, which I used to own, and bringing it back into the forefront. Hopefully I can bridge the gap in independent wrestling and be a positive influence in professional wrestling in Western Pennsylvania and try to book some people. I'm not going to be able to book everybody because everybody's booked everywhere. So I have an open door policy. If I can't get them one show, I'll try to get them a next show. But we are at the Castle facility in Johnstown. It's a great facility. They just did boxing. I don't know if Smokin' Jim's ever been down there for boxing. They just had amateur boxing. They drew almost 400 people down there at the Castle about a month and a half ago. So, wow. And they do train down there. They train boxing. And we are going to run August 24th and October 26th, and that'll end out the year because I'm going to space out my shows. I can't do every month like everybody else can. It's stressful enough just to do one show, let alone 2 shows to 3 shows.
I know what you mean, man.
They do it every month, and we're just trying to get people from all. If you're a pro wrestling fan, come up Sunday afternoon from wherever. From my house in Indiana, Pennsylvania, I can go an hour in either direction, and there's a wrestling show. So an hour is not that far. An hour and 20 minutes, it's not that far. I travel. I'm probably one of the only guys I go to all kind of shows. So I just like to be out there. I like to see the young guys. I want to see this new young talent, and there's a lot of young talent out there. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Bubba, is all
Yeah.
your shows on Sundays?
What's that?
Is all your shows on Sundays?
My shows, this first show, Jim, will be on Sunday, but due to August and September, I will not compete with the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I have to go back to Saturday.
There you go. That's a good one there, Bubba.
Yes.
I like that.
So 2025, Smokin' Jim, I will be back on Sundays. If I can run 5 or 6 shows, come back to Indiana once a year and go to Punxsutawney once a year and make Johnstown with the Castle facility the APWF home. And it's been around. APWF, nobody knows. It's been around since 1998. We've had major players that came in this federation. As I'm looking, we've had Matt Hardy, Rhino. Stevie Richards was a heavyweight champion in the ECW arena. People don't know that. That's why I'm part of the history. We had Eric Young. He was my cruiserweight champion at one time. The Blue Meanie was my heavyweight champion. So we've had
Meanie. I remember a match he did with JBL, man. That was funny.
Yeah,
because, Teddy Long was pissed at JBL about something. He made him fight the Blue Meanie. It was hilarious.
Well, the problem is, guys, a lot of people don't know me because I've been out of business so long. So all these younger guys have no clue who I am, and they don't know about the history that the APWF has. It has a lot of history, so I'm trying to bring that back. So, out of a lot of tragedy in my company, we've had a lot of good stuff too. We've had a lot of heartache and a lot of heartbreak, but we've had some good people pass. But I'm still trying to keep this going and trying to keep it alive. And thanks to my staff, my wife, the staff that I have, we have great people, and we just want to put on a great show for everybody in Indiana and in Johnstown and wherever the APWF is. So I'm all about a positive mindset of doing things positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we're doing stuff for charity for the Teddy Bear Fund Drive. Part of the ticket sales are going for the kids for the Teddy Bear Fund Drive of Indiana. So we always do a show for charity.
Oh, that's great, Bubba. Smokin' Jim, final thoughts before we wrap up here.
No, I tell you what, Bubba got me pumped up as usual. Great job, Bubba.
Oh, yeah.
I try Smokin' Jim.
All right, guys. For Bubba Brewer, Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. See you next week here for Sports Corner. And don't forget, we got some great guests coming on. I got Artie Source coming on from Galaxy Sports Network, who rated us #1 show in Western Pennsylvania. We don't need the radio. We're here online. But sorry about the inconvenience of the Facebook. We're having some issues with Facebook tonight. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, and we're on Twitch. So I just want to let everyone know we're not on Facebook. For Bubba Brewer, Smokin' Jim Frazier, everybody have a great night. Thank you for watching, and be safe.